Yeah. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Sorry, I'm a bit under the weather right now. Many of you guys have been asking for videos and where I've been. I've been at work, doing overtime, trying to knock down these bills and whatnot. I do have a regular life. I don't make these videos to try to like gain fame or anything. This is just show you a regular person like me can do this with just a 9 to 9 pretty much. Then you can do it. I'm just living the dream, and luckily I'm blessed enough to have people that want to help me, like my boy Matt right here.
Yeah.
And a lot of companies, and I thank all of them. So to explain it, this is my R33 GTR. You all know it. You've seen it before. Known as Perfect Sale, but we're trying to make it super perfect. My boy Matt over here, we're switching to a certain type of ECU, certain type of fuel, and he's been tinkering pretty much the last 3 days with this. It was a giant mess in here as far as fuel wise. You want to explain it?
Yeah, so did you want to tell him what ECU or?
Uh-oh, yeah, hold this, Matthew, hold this.
I'll shoot.
So, for all you that are wondering, I want to thank a special people down in Kentucky. My boys at Haltech came through. I am going to be running the Haltech Elite 2000 on my car. This is the jumper harness to work with this ECU. Pretty much this ECU is multi-platform based. You just tune it and program it for your car. With this harness allows the stock RB26 wiring harness to work with this ECU. I'll also be running the Haltech, let me take it out, Haltech Flex Fuel Kit. So I will be running E85, and I have one more surprise. This came today and I'm super excited about this. Anybody who knows me, it's been like an ongoing battle with this car. And with that being said, remember, safety first, always close that. This is the illustrious, if I can get it out. Oh, they're supposed to send something else. IC7 Haltech multi-function display unit, which I will be running in this car. So that means I'm taking out, I wanted to run it where the radio was, but I found a pretty much cluster adapter on eBay in Australia. Talked to the dude. It was about, I'd say maybe like 200 American. So before I want to just, I haven't seen this, so this is the first time I've seen it. I want y'all to look at the packaging. Like, this is amazing. It lets you know open here. It's just shiny. It's very shiny.
Is this like an unboxing video now?
I don't know. Look, warning, professional enhancement technology inside. Look at this. Dude, Matt, this is your first time seeing this too?
Yeah, dude, I've never seen
this. This is like a freaking tablet. Look at this bad boy.
Looks like a PSP.
It does. You know, matter of fact, hold that thought. So to give y'all a size comparison, this is a PSP. Don't ask me why I drive around with it. I just have it in my glove compartment. This is a PSP. This is a PS Vita. And this is the Haltech IC7. So you can see this is how much bigger it is than a PS Vita and a PSP. It is a 7-inch LED display. And it's just fabulous. This is one of those things. It's like you know when you play Gran Turismo, Matt?
Yeah.
And you just like, you like got a couple extra credits.
Yep.
Your boy done spent a couple extra credits on the right stuff, you feel me? So thank you, Haltech, very much. I can't wait to put this in the car and be flossy glossy at all the shows. So when people are like, what's that? And I turn it on, I might put a screensaver on my grandmother, either that or Cell, or my Cell dressed as my grandmother. Whatever comes first. So with that being said, I'm gonna give it to Matthew and he's gonna explain what we're doing with the car.
Okay, so past couple days I had the pleasure of removing the stock fuel pumps. Originally we thought they were some Bosch units, but because it was so loud, lo and behold, it is some two stock R33 fuel pumps. So this is one of them. Looks like that, nothing fancy, just OEM stuff. And this is the second one right there. It already had a -6 bulkhead fitting already attached to it, so that's what we're going to use. We're going to delete or not use the OEM lift one because the way this car was, they already added a -6 line all the way to the front of the car. Let me show you the front. Okay, so in the front of the car, we're using the Tomei fuel rail, and with that, there's two dash 6 fittings, and then this is their feed line down here. And we just have to figure out where we're going to put the flex fuel sensor. So ideally, we want to put it somewhere right here, and then we'll just do a Y fitting, and then go to the both ends of the fuel rail there.
Matt came through. We ordered all the AN fittings, the bulkhead connectors, and the Walbro 450. I was going to go with the Walbro 525, but we just did it.
The 450 works just as good.
Yeah, so the goal with this car is to make at least 5 to 550 horsepower. Anybody wondering, since Skylines are becoming allowable in the US, like what is a power range? 600 is what I recommend for anybody. Well, even if you have no experience, don't go 600, just drive the stock car. But if you like looking to seek performance out these cars, 600 is probably right about perfect. It's enough horsepower where you can sure feel it in your ass, but it's sure enough horsepower where you won't be breaking transmissions, axles. The motors on the R33s are pretty solid. The 32s are notorious for the oiling issues with the oiling gear, but it's just all how you take care of them. When you get these cars, when they land from Japan, please go through them. When I got my car, as Matt can tell you, it's a headache because this was a race car in Japan. And over there, I guess back in the day when they built this, it was just built to run. So it is a lot of electrical issues as far as it runs properly, the electronics run properly, but it's not up to what I would like as far as appearance under the dash. Like you look under there, it is a whole rat's nest from all the old gauges, the line lock, the freaking OS Geiken it came with and all that. So our goal is, if we have time to remove the dash, take all those lines out, because with the Haltech IC7, I'll no longer need gauges because everything will be read right on the screen. So I'm just going for a nice clean look. That's just the goal with this. People ask me, why do I call it perfect cell and why am I making it super perfect cell? This car actually has a little bit from each chassis from the 32, 33, 34. Obviously it's an R33. I have an R32 motor set with R33 and parts inside, and I have R34 axles on here. There's not much difference in the axles, but they just did come off of R34, and if you've watched Dragon Ball Z, you know he takes a little bit from each body. And unfortunately, this is my old motor right here, my old R33 that I see is that range from, no, because RBs aren't reliable, because this guy right here didn't put enough oil in his car. Driving up there, and I had a leak in my turbo oil return, and sloshing around, you can see, and that's it. You know, pretty much there's no excuse. My negligence caused this problem, but luckily I had a backup motor, so hopefully, like I said, we can make 500 to 550 on this. I would love 600, but that's, even 500 is way too much for me. It's just the one I want to get it done right the first time, and then with the Haltech Elite 2000, we can at least have different map settings so I can run this car. With that being said, I guess, what do you want to do now, Matt?
Install the fuel pump. Okay. So here's the fuel pump, Walbro 450. The cool thing about this, it is rated up to, I think, 600 to 700 horsepower on E85. So I got that there, and then we got some fittings. The 5/8 fitting we're going to use. Let me show you. So as explained before, this car came with a dash 6 bulkhead fitting already installed. So we're going to utilize the dash 6. And then they also used the original, on the secondary pump, they use this fitting, which these stock fittings for any S chassis or R chassis, it's 5/8 or 5/16. Basically it's equal to like a dash 5. We want to use dash 6 throughout the entire car. Since it flows better and it can handle up to, I think, 600 to 700 horsepower. Anyway, so we're not going to use this feed anymore, so we'll just leave it dry. The stock hardline that's on the car, no fuel will run through it. We'll only use the dash 6. So we had to get this fitting here. Basically, that's going to screw on there. And then the hose that comes with the install kit is going to attach to this end and then the pump end. And then that takes care of the pump. As far as wiring, this is the stock wire. We're not going to use that. We're going to run it through a bulkhead and use 12 gauge and hardwired to the battery. So we constantly get 12 volts. We should have no issues with power to the pump. That's one big issue when you use a stock harness for any S chassis and R chassis is that the stock wiring isn't good enough for, you know, these high demanding fuel pumps. So it's always better to run 12 gauge with a relay. So this is from ATL. It's a little bulkhead fitting. We'll drill a hole there and then run the wiring, you know, yeah, I think right here is perfect. And then just run the wires out the pump and then to the relay directly to the battery on the back of the car. So we got that. And then with the flex fuel sensor, they're called 3M, was it 3M like push lock, like 3/8 like fittings or EFI fittings. So those are coming in the mail. We got those coming in, and then off of the factory, or no, off the dash 6 line that's already installed in the car, they were using just those like the AN style warm gear clamps, which in my opinion isn't the best, but it's worked before, it's worked all this time, so we're gonna utilize that, and in the future, you know, we can always change out the line and do proper fittings, you know, going forward. So that barb is gonna go onto there, and then from there we'll wire it out and then go to the ends of the fuel tank. So basically from the pump to the front to the fuel rails, we're all dash 6 all the way. So
many of you may wonder, like, why am I not doing this? I'm not an expert with fuel. He's built plenty of S chassis fuel tank type things. I'd rather not. He's wired up my 34, so I put my faith in this man, the Jason Kimmel La Puente. So hopefully,
man, Jason Kimmel La Puente.
Hopefully this thing will do great. So with that being said,
so first thing we're just gonna do is put the pump in. Let me show you the difference where the pump is gonna sit on the hanger. So with like S14s and R chassis, the tank has like this little holder, and this little bracket slides in, and then there's like, you know, this long hose, this little bracket, and the sock. The sock is basically at the lowest bottom of the tank, so we can, you know, obviously suck the fuel from the bottom. Now, if we put the fuel pump here, and with the sock that it comes with, it's obviously not going to be, you know, it's not going to reach. So we have to mount the tank or the fuel pump all the way at the bottom with the sock in the same position as this, so that it is sucking fuel directly from the bottom of the tank. Yeah, so we'll see how that goes. We might just use like warm gear clamps to clamp it down, but obviously whatever we do, we'll make it look clean. So real quick, you can see how this tank, or this, this pump, how it's all burnt and stuff. Well, this is the one that they used, you know, the fitting. So this was technically their primary pump. For as long as Gary's on the car, I'm sure this pump wasn't even working and on. So they was basically running off the backup one. So kind of shows how janky this thing kind of was before we got our hands on it. All right. What happens if we don't use proper wiring?
And this man, we wired this properly, so my fuel cell, well, my trunk is completely gutted. There's the fuel. Hopefully I don't drop the camera in there. Oh, you can see in there good. There you go. So, oh shoot, we're supposed to. There you go. That way it doesn't complete the connection. Oop, the battery's dying, so let's put this on the charger.